of rituals and their functions. I want to start off by talking about technological therapy and anti-therapy and salvation rituals, and then we'll talk about ideological rituals. So in general, what rituals do is four main things. Rituals impress on people commitment to their religious system. It's a way of recommitting yourself to a certain religion on a regular basis. Rituals express group solidarity and loyalty. It's a way for communities to come together and express the core elements of being in community, as well as to give people that social network and common experience to create feelings of being in a community. Rituals ally anxiety during times of crisis. This is that famous saying, there are no atheists in foxholes, right? When we have times of crisis in which our regular ordinary actions are insufficient to produce more stability, more hope, more comfort, a lot of people turn to religious rituals or even secular rituals that allow them to feel better about their situation and to have more comfort. These are things like prayer and meditation and other ritual actions. And then finally, rituals usher people into new social roles, and this includes secular rituals. This is the inauguration of a new president, moving him from being not president into the presidency. This is weddings, funerals, and graduations. You know, it's moving people from one social position to another. So let's talk about three different types of rituals now. The first of these is technological rituals. These control nature for the purpose of human exploitation. They're an attempt to create better odds or to better understand what's happening in the cosmos in order to position humans better for being successful at something. Examples of technological rituals include divination, intensification, and protection. Divination is a way to predict and mediate the future. It's a way to give people possible scenarios about what might happen and help them to make decisions regarding future actions. Here in the picture we see a tarot card reader giving a reading to a woman. And if you've never been to a reader of some kind and had a reading done, a divination reading done, typically the person will sort of ask questions about what you want to know and what's going on in your life. And then we'll pull various cards that have symbolic content on them, or we'll use other means. We'll talk quite a lot about divination later on in the semester. These symbols are something on the cards or runes. These symbols are something that they interact with that helps them have a glimpse into what potentially may be going on in the person's life and help provide them answers. In fact, divination rituals tend to function a bit like counseling centers. People, of course, tend to consult divination when they are uncomfortable with making a decision, when there's some sort of uncertainty involved. And part of the role of the diviner, the person who does the reading, is not just to relay potential information, but to do it in a way that allows the querent, the participant, to frame up the questions that are related to their uncertainty and anxiety and to reach a conclusion and a decision with regard to these. Then there are rituals of intensification. These have to do with obtaining food or sometimes alcohol, but usually food. These are things like rituals to ensure a better harvest, fertility of crops and animals, or rituals that are designed to call rain when there's a drought. And then finally, there's these rituals of protection, coping with uncertainty. These rituals are very common, for example, with careers in which there is a high likelihood of getting hurt or injured, and there's a lot of uncertainty in it. So you find, for example, that all over the world, many cultures who have deep-sea fishermen who go out, who have to brave the elements on the ocean, and also who are not guaranteed success in their catch, often have a variety of rituals that are designed to protect them from harm and also to intensify their success in fishing. The second type of ritual is therapy and anti-therapy rituals. These are designed to control human health. Therapy rituals being those that are designed to heal people, and anti-therapy, those designed to harm people. In traditional societies, anti-therapy rituals are often associated with witchcraft and sorcery, and we'll talk at length about this in the witchcraft module later on in the course. In modern society, practitioners of witchcraft actually generally focus on healing and wellness. A major part of many pagan traditions, including Wicca and various forms of witchcraft, are practices that are designed to heal people in some way. This is a major focus of many of the world's religions. One of the big issues in human life is illness and injury. And so, of course, many religions have something that speak to healing. And modern witchcraft is no exception. Here we see pictures of Pentecostal faith healing. Pentecostalism is a branch of Christianity that is charismatic. That is, it tends to focus on an ecstatic state of experiencing the Holy Spirit of God. And there's a great belief in most Pentecostal churches in the miracles of believers, the miracles that they can produce, including those of healing. So here in the top photo, you see somebody who is ill or injured, attempting to be healed by people under the power of the Holy Spirit. Here in the bottom picture, you see a pastor attempting to heal a woman, touching her forehead. It's a very common practice in some religions with certain kinds of spiritual healing, the idea that touch transfers some kind of miraculous energy that can help heal the body. Then finally we have salvation rituals. Salvation rituals are designed to repair damaged self-esteem and impaired identity. They're rituals that are more about sort of taking people who have some psychological distress and moving them to a state where they feel better about themselves and a clearer sense of who they are. There are lots of different kinds of salvation rituals, and they can look incredibly different depending on the tradition. So some various kinds of salvation rituals include possession, which is identity altered by a spirit's presence. When you're in a religion that, such as Wudun, which we'll talk about more later in the semester, that practices possession, what happens is the host, the human being, opens up to the spirit world, and a spirit comes and resides in the human body in order to give a message to the group, the community. And so this is a type of salvation ritual in which the human being is altered in its identity by the presence of a spirit. Another example is the acceptance of an alternate identity, such as a person becoming a shaman. So, and we see this in the myth of Taliesin, right? That Taliesin starts as Gwion Bach and as an ordinary young boy, and through the transformation of the goddess Ceridwen and her potion and chase, he is transformed into an alternate identity of Taliesin, the poet who is known as Radiant Brow. And then finally, another example that's quite different is mysticism. Mysticism is characterized by the loss of personal identity through the identification with a sacred being, a sense of union with God. So here we have in the picture a young man who is a new Christian at an altar call. In many more charismatic or evangelical Christian churches, they will have time in which a pastor usually gives a rather emotional sermon or speech and encourages those who have not yet come to know Jesus Christ, who have not given their faith over to Christianity, to receive Jesus Christ and become what they call born again, to see themselves as a new person. So you can see that fits very well with this definition of salvation ritual. They're repairing themselves in terms of their damaged self-esteem, right? They're moving from a state of sinfulness to a state of grace. And they're also creating a new identity for themselves as Christians. And usually in this process, they encourage these people who would like to do this to come to the front, to the altar, to the front of the sanctuary, and have other people pray with them. So here you see this young man enacting this action.